Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Tiffany.
And this is the Clean Romance Podcast. We're going to break down 5-star reads, hot button topics, and what makes clean romance shine. Today, we have a special guest on the show. We're going to be talking to Natalie Walters. Natalie writes what she calls sweet and stabby books, and we're going to be talking about romantic suspense that doesn't need explicit content to really sizzle. So thank you so much for joining us, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk with you guys.
So Natalie's book, Spies, Lies, and Alibis, comes out today.
Wait, it's today?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
yeah, it's today.
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, sorry. Yes, that's so exciting.
Yes. We are recording this in advance, but the day that this podcast episode comes out is the day that Natalie's book is being released into the world.
I forget how good of a
factor too.
Yeah, I forget how good of a planner Tiffany is. Thank you, Tiffany, for being so amazing and having us on point like that. Congratulations on release day, Natalie. What does it feel like?
Oh, I'm excited. I've been waiting. This book actually took me quite a while to write. So the fact that I'm able to get it out into the reader's hands and they actually finally get to have this piece of a story that took me so long to write is just very exciting. It's always exciting when the fruits of your labor are finally like it's done and you can kind of like shift now to like the next story. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited for readers to meet Sybil and Ben. So it's a good day.
Yes.
I love it. Tiffany and I had a sneak peek and we've been thoroughly enjoying it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we fangirled a little bit because we've never gotten book mail from a publisher before. So we were really grateful for Thomas Nelson and HarperCollins. Like, we got mail from them. And so we were really excited about that. And I stayed up way too late, several nights in a row, finishing your book. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Thank you. I think it's always like the best compliment when a reader's like, I stayed up too late, or I couldn't put it down, or I read it in 2 days, which the reading it in 2 days thing is actually a little unnerving for an author because you're like, yeah, it's going to be a year until the next book comes out.
Right.
Like, yes. I love the enthusiasm and the excitement, but also like, that's a lot of pressure. Get the next book out.
I also get this feeling of like, I spent so many hours writing it. So many hours, and you just like flew through it.
Yeah.
But it's a compliment, but it's like, oh man, wow. Okay.
It's great because I feel like I do the same thing with books that I love. I will devour them, which is why I think for me personally, if there's an author that I love and they put out a new book, a lot of times I'll shelf it because I know the second I start reading it, I'm going to get through it very quickly and then it's done. And so I'm like, okay, I want to like, it has to be like, I want to open it and I want to like be able to enjoy it. So I don't want to have any distractions, but I'm also like this, I know that because once it's over, you're like, okay, I read it. And you know, I admire people who can reread books like over and over and over again, for that like adventure, whatever. And I do, there's a couple books that I do that with, but there's not very many. And so I always like, just take your time and enjoy the story. But it's, I don't know. I can't do it. I say that, but I can't even do it myself. So
same.
It's too exciting. Yeah. I just want to like, it's like having a really good dessert in front of you. Like you can't leave it for later. You've got to devour it.
Right. You cannot leave a crumb on the plate because that's a waste.
No.
For Mother's Day, I'm not like, I tend to eat really healthy stuff. And for Mother's Day, I told my husband, I'm like, I want a donut from this like kind of famous donut place near us. And so I saved it and I was like, I'm going to eat half now and half after dinner, you know? And so I went outside, I was reading my book and enjoying my donut. And my youngest comes out and he finds me and he's like, can I try some? And he's got the face like you can't say no to. And so he comes in and takes the biggest bite of my donut. Like, I'm still mad about it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is my Mother's Day treat. And you just took like half of the donut in one bite.
They don't appreciate it. That's the other problem too, is like, if there's that appreciation value of like, oh, this is like, this is special. I feel like even for like reading time, like being able to have like a set amount of time set aside, and you know, I know for like my family, I'm like, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? I just want some time alone. Like, I just want to be able to read a book and be uninterrupted, and it's the value of that. But yeah, I feel like there's a reason all of my children are adults now, so I feel like I can admit this. But when they were younger, I wouldn't eat the cookies until they were in bed because I didn't
totally yeah.
I'm like that, but like, I mean, I shared my whole day, all of my food, and then like the one time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just have this one little indulgence after they go to bed so that I can like selfishly eat.
Yes. See, I made a rookie mistake. I thought I was fine out on the porch by myself, but no.
I'm surprised they at least asked. I would have thought someone, like my husband, would have seen it, grabbed it, ate it, and then I'd been like, where's my donut?
Yeah, well, it was Mother's Day, and we would have had some problems if he ate my donut. Maybe on a different day that would have happened.
Yeah.
You gotta just like buy one for each member of the family, so that way you're like, no, this is mine.
Well, he did. He had his own.
Oh, no, then he does not get a bite. No, I mean, I'm like a bleeding heart, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, you can have a bite. But if he had his own, I'd be like, no, buddy, you already had your own donut. This one's mommy's.
Yep.
Well, I should have done that.
You're
I have
too
so much
nice.
regret.
We're going to have to get you another donut.
I know. Okay.
Donuts are like my favorite food. And a couple years ago, my cholesterol was high. And I realized it was because I kept stopping at Dunkin' Donuts. It was like summer, and I'm all about treats. And we'd be on our way to the barn or whatever, and I'd be like, hey, you guys want a donut? Because it's super cheap. Like, it's a cheap treat for your kid, and I love a donut. And so, I don't know, a couple times a week we were stopping for donuts. Those treats just kind of add up, and I was like, oh, my cholesterol's high. I think it's donuts.
That's hilarious, Sarah.
I've cut back.
All right. We're gonna need to rename this episode. Something about donuts.
Discussions.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so Natalie, I know as a romantic suspense author, you have Googled things that have probably landed you on some kind of FBI watch list somewhere.
Multiple, probably.
Right. So to start out the episode, we're going to play a game that kind of centers around that. So we're going to play 2 truths and a lie. Okay. We're all three of us are going to share 3 things that we've had to Google while writing our books. 2 are true and 1 is a lie, and the others have to guess the lie.
Okay.
Now, one thing that I will say, Natalie, is that Sarah and I both write some books that involve horses. So I feel like you're at a disadvantage if you don't know that.
Okay.
Sarah's making a face.
I will try to pull on my Girl Scout equestrian years to determine the truth and the lie.
Did you earn the equestrian badge in Girl Scouts?
I did. That was all I ever really wanted to do when I went to Girl Scout camp, was to ride horses. And then my parents, we did end up getting 2 horses. We had them for a short period of time, but where we kept them was not close to where we lived. And so we didn't get to go out and ride them as much as I would have hoped.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's bad.
I get that.
Our horse girl hearts are bleeding for you, Natalie.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go and visit y'all so I can.
I'm interviewing you in my riding pants because it's like a part of my day. So
I'm jealous.
You can always get some riding pants and just wear them around town. It's very trendy right now.
My next reel on Instagram will be me in riding pants with Bob.
If we were like making tons of money through this podcast, I would send you a gift of riding pants in the mail. But we're not yet, so
Okay,
just
well,
imagine.
I'm gonna promote this. I need a pair. Natalie needs a pair of riding.
I want to be that level where we're making enough money where I can just send our guests like $200 riding pants as a fun happy.
I want you to be at that level. I want you to be at that level.
Tell all your friends.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Tiffany and I have to figure out how to monetize to get to that level. We don't know how to do that yet.
When you learn, you tell me so I can figure it out too.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, for our listeners who are following along, I'm going to have a fun little graphic, and you can guess along with us on Instagram at the Clean Romance Podcast. And you guessed, see if you can guess before we say our answers, what is the lie and what is the truth. So, does anybody want to start?
Okay, I'll go first. I want to get it over with. Okay, so 2 truths and a lie in no particular order. What kind of car would a horse grandma drive? What is the progression of fertility treatments for someone trying to get pregnant? And what does a lacrosse player's car look like?
Got a lot of car questions there, Sarah.
I have to figure out which one. These are the things you've Googled, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I know sorry, I'm going to give this away. I know the fertility treatment one is true.
It's true.
I think
I was going to say that's true also, because I feel like that's
Okay.
that's a very specific that's a very specific theme, you know what I mean? Like a very specific area. I would say the granny's truck is the lie. That you didn't research that.
I was going to say that too, actually. I think that's the lie. Oh.
She gone. She out.
Oh no. It says Sarah's not being recorded anymore. Okay.
Oh.
I guess Sarah really didn't want to tell us what was true and what was a lie.
See, now in my world, that's the first signal that the FBI has just interfered with you. Like they're like, we're cutting this off right now. So if that had happened with me, we would know that the feds are watching.
Right. Yeah, really. Well, I guess we will keep forging ahead. I'll go next to give Sarah a little bit of time to come back, so she can be a part of your questions if she comes back.
She's been taken to a black site right now.
Right. Okay. So these are my 3 things I've Googled. Number 1, the best way to fall off a horse to get paralyzed. Number 2, how does blood taste? Number 3, how does money laundering work?
Okay. I feel like I think that the falling off the horse would be a truth, because there's probably very specific ways you can fall off of a horse that you don't end up paralyzed. So there has to be some sort of impact that would require you to figure out. There she's back. The FBI just brought her back.
Okay, so my lie was, y'all got it right. It was the horse grandma car.
Okay.
Nice.
Good job.
I figured you'd
FBI
probably
let me
want to
back
know with lacrosse equipment, only because my daughter played lacrosse and it's a lot of equipment. So.
Yes, I wanted to know what the inside of a lacrosse player's car would look like.
It's smelly. It's disgustingly stinky.
That's
so we're
funny.
doing Tiffany's now. You want to repeat
Okay.
your
I'll do mine real quick. Okay. Number 1, the best way to fall off a horse to get paralyzed. Number 2, how does blood taste? Number 3, how does money laundering work?
I think your lie is how does blood taste because we've all tasted blood before. We know what it tastes like.
I think so too. Like if I bite my tongue or my lip, I know what it tastes like. But yeah, I feel like that's the lie also.
Okay, I did Google how does blood taste because I feel like the descriptions that are always given, I didn't like that. Like, oh, it's coppery or it's metallic. I'm like, I want something else. I didn't find something else, I'll be honest. But I was like, I wanted something different, you know?
Okay, which was the lie?
Okay.
The best way to fall off a horse to get paralyzed.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
You're like, I know this.
I would have. I mean, for me, I guess I could have. That probably would have been the right. I was taking a chance on that, knowing that you were a horse.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, for me when I'm crafting a story and I'm like, okay, I want to know specifically like what part of the body is impacting, what part of the vertebrae is, is like, how do you fall? Like, what would that look like? So, dang, that was good.
It is like, I wrote a fall in one of my books, and I was like, I've fallen a bajillion times. I know the answers, but I'm still Googling anyway. Like, what does a concussion look like? What does a back break look like? And like, like within my family, I've experienced all of this, but you just want to double check.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely, like, to be clear, I Googled a lot about, because one of my characters is paraplegic, and so I Googled a lot about like which vertebra, like would she, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't specifically Google like how should she fall off the horse, Because
that wasn't really in the book. Like
That's
you didn't write the fall in the book.
Well, I wrote it in Off Course. I wrote it in the
maybe
prequel.
I haven't read Off Course.
It's possible.
Sorry. True confessions. True confessions. I've read everything else. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Natalie, your turn.
Okay. I didn't write this down. This is coming off the top of my head.
Okay.
So I have researched how to disarm a bomb, an actual like a bomb. I have researched blood spatter patterns and what that looks like up against a wall, and I have researched. I had all three of these, and I didn't write them all down. I could hold on. I have to think now. This might give me away.
I have researched.
I know. I'm like, well, I was trying to think like, okay, what other ones would I have? And I've researched body decomposition times. So there you go.
Those are all very believable.
They are. Now, let me ask, have you published more than one book, or is this your first book?
I have published more than one book. This is this is my ninth full-length book, and I have 4 novellas.
Wow.
Congratulations. Wow,
Thanks.
impressive. Okay. So, well, I have not read your backlist, so
That's okay. That means you have plenty of summer reading. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, yeah. I can't base it off of what the one book I have read. I'm going with the last one just because it took you a minute to come up with it. So I think maybe it's your lie.
I'm gonna say the first one you said, which I don't remember, but I'm just saying. I think you probably.
It was a bomb disposal, blood spatter pattern, and the body decomp.
Okay, let's go with bomb.
Okay, so I
think they're all believable.
They are.
So I have researched bomb, how to disarm a bomb. I have a character, Nicholas Garcia. He's in my Snap Agency series, and he is a former EOD bomb expert for the military. Okay. And I had a character who was strapped with a bomb, and so he had to disarm it. And I needed to know specifically what wires and what the mechanisms are, and that's not so easy to research, and also not a great way to get like not tagged by TSA and like federal agencies. So, but I was able to find that research. Actually, there's competitions within the collegiate level for people to create bombs and disarm bombs.
Wow.
So I was able to find that information. And then I have also researched body decomposition
Oh
times and
man.
methods. So my very first book, my character is going through the woods, the kind of the marshy woods in Georgia, and it's very wet and swampy. And so I had to know how fast a body could decomp in that type of environment. And so the only thing I have never researched, actually Googled, is blood spatter patterns. So, and I
Cool.
don't, and the only reason I haven't researched that is one, I haven't had to put that into a story yet. But also I have some friends who work with the crime scene. And so I think I'd probably defer to their consultation before I would research it.
Yeah. Okay, so how quickly does a body decompose in a swamp? I'm curious.
Well, it depends. There's a lot of environmental things. So depending on the time of year that it happens, if it's winter time
Okay.
versus the summer and it's humid, it depends on how much rain there is, and the location of the body. Is it in water? Is it not in water? And so and then like what color does their body turn? Like, you know, because there's like, yeah, it's a whole
Wow.
it was a whole thing. So
Okay,
there actually is
and
not
like, did the alligators find it?
yes,
first?
animals, scavenging animals, yeah. And
Wow,
so
wow.
I fortunately for my story, her body has not been left there long. And so, because I actually had a reader message me and be like, hey, I don't know if that is like, how did you figure that out? And I told them that I had to research, like, okay, if their body was there, how fast would, and because it's in the summertime, it actually happens a little bit quicker than it would under normal circumstances. So yeah.
Fun
All right.
times.
Wow.
Listen, that story, it's so funny. So that's my book, Living Lies, which is in my Harvard Secret series. And when I was trying to figure out where to put this body, we had lived in Georgia at the time in Richmond Hill, and I was driving to school to pick my son up for middle school, and there was a long drive, and there's all these trees and marshy area, and I was like, that would be the perfect place for a body. And so that was literally where I knew where to place her was. I was like, okay,
Nice.
it's gonna go there because it makes sense.
Yeah. I will
Total
say,
sense.
I'm not a suspense author, and I probably never will be, because I'm like, I don't have the fortitude for it. But I drove with my dad one time from Florida to Arizona to sell a horse. And I remember thinking, driving through West Texas, like, this is the perfect place to put a body. Like, it's so huge. You don't pass anything for hours and hours. Like, no one would go out there to find anything. Like,
Right.
there are definitely places like the Everglades. It's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
you could dump a body there. Did you know there are crocodiles and alligators in the Everglades? Like,
That's
We
cool.
have we have alligators in East Texas. I didn't know this, like in the waters. And I was like, oh no, I won't be going in the water near there anytime at all, ever. I think it's so interesting, like when you think of the idea of like dropping off bodies and putting, in the desert or whatever. And like, especially now, I watch court TV a lot, and I'm fascinated with, I think the thing about suspense and mysteries is it's a puzzle, and I love puzzles. And so I think that when I write suspense, yeah, there's some like sort of, uncomfortable scenes and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's the puzzle of solving this puzzle and being like, okay, how do we get to this end point? How do we get the justice part of it? How do we get the bad
Yeah.
guy? But I think now, like, I can look at the way crime has progressed with technology, and thinking about how you don't really hear about serial killers anymore, because it's harder for them to get away with it, right? Like there's so much technology, there's social media, all of these things that people are pinging on, and so nobody can just disappear really, without there being some way to figure out what happened. And I think that's the same thing with dumping bodies in like these locations now, because technology with your phones, they can track, they'll be like, oh, this person's a suspect, and they can track that person's car, their phone, like with all these like, data. And so I think now you're like, okay, yeah, it's harder to be a criminal now probably than it was before. I'm not saying there's less criminals. That's certainly not a statement that's true, but definitely harder. But I look at all these places where I think like, oh, could this be some place that someone could hide a body or dispose a body, or
okay, can I just share one of my favorite reading moments? Sure. I was reading, have y'all read Finlay Donovan's series?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not technically clean, so it's not it's not going to make my 5-star, but they're hilarious, and the author is from my area, and I did not know this. Okay, so I'm reading the first book, and it's taking place in Northern Virginia, close to where I live, and they dump a body, and she's describing the place, and I'm like, this is where my horse used to live. And she was talking about going down Route 50, and you make this right turn, and it's on a sod farm. Whoa. And my horse literally lived on the caretaker of the sod farm's property. And I would ride along the sod farm, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're dumping the body on the sod farm where I used to ride my horse. Like, this is a huge area. It's now a data center. But it was crazy, and it was so funny to be like, Finlay Donovan just dumped a body where I used to ride my horse, and it was so fun to like, I can fully picture it because I've been there.
Yeah. I read that series, and we used to live in Northern Virginia, and we were stationed.
Okay, that's where I am, in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, so we were stationed. We lived in Fairfax, and so when she was talking about like I was like, I've been to that Panera. I'm pretty sure I've been to that Panera where she was at. And so I think it's so fun when an author uses locations that someone can relate to. I had just done a interview with like 3 other authors, and it was over espionage. And when they introduced everybody, all 3 of them had their stories were taking place overseas in like London and wherever. And they were like, and in Dallas, Texas for my story. And they were like, why did you choose Dallas, Texas? And I was like, well, because I wanted some place that like readers could relate to. Like, maybe not everybody has gone to London, and that's okay. Like, that's fine. Like, I think one of the best parts of storytelling is being able to take a reader someplace they've never been. But I really thought it was fun, in this book particularly, to be like, what happens if you were invited to a gala at the Museum of Art in Dallas, and they're just is the people sitting at the table next to you, are they like crime bosses? Is there some sort of like spy deal going on right now? Like, to me, that's the fun part of writing these stories, is being able to have a reader put themselves in the shoes of somebody who could have been there. So for like you with Finlay, you were like, I literally was riding my horse where these bodies were being buried. Like, I think it makes it exciting, because I think it makes the story feel real, and like it makes the world feel real, and I think that's just so fun.
Yeah, I love reading the Finlay Donovan books because they're all written in the suburbs of DC, like where I live, and I'm like, I think that restaurant they hang out at is actually American Tap Room at the Reston Town Center. Where all their crime deals are going down. Anyway, we're going off topic. Tiffany's giving me the look.
I'm not giving you a look. I am not giving you a look. This week's sponsored book is perfect for this episode. It's also a romantic suspense. It's called Whispers in the Dark by Holly Bown. And I'm going to read the blurb for you, and then I'm going to tell you how you can find this book. She can't stand him. He can't leave her alone, especially when a sinister force threatens her safety. As they unite to solve the mystery, will their fiery connection lead to love or plunge them into even greater danger? After a shattered engagement, the last thing Alex Fontaine wants is being forced to spend time with charismatic playboy Jake Riley. But fate has its own designs when Alex is commissioned to paint a mural for a project close to Jake's heart. Their initial sparks ignite a powerful bond that defies their boundaries and unveils secret wounds. But as mysterious accidents plague the project and danger looms, Alex and Jake are forced to navigate the treacherous waters of love, trust, and the shadows of their past. This enemies to lovers clean fiction Kindle Unlimited story is the first book in the romantic suspense series, The Secrets of Whispering Pines. Each of the romantic mystery Kindle books features a small town romance with a guaranteed happily ever after and a suspenseful mystery that will keep you turning pages well into the night. Thank you so much, Holly Bound, for sponsoring this week's episode for us. To find this book, head to Amazon. It's available in Kindle Unlimited and on paperback. And the link for that will be in our show notes and also on our website at thecleanromancepodcast.com. Thanks again, Holly. Don't forget to check out Whispers in the Dark on Kindle Unlimited. All right, now let's get back to chatting with Natalie.
Okay, let's get to our interview. We're like 45 minutes in and haven't even gotten to our interview questions.
No, this is fantastic.
This is fun.
Yeah.
This is
okay.
fun.
So, Natalie, you talked a little bit about why you like writing romantic suspense, but like, why did you decide to write romantic suspense, specifically romantic suspense without explicit content?
So when I first started writing, I didn't even realize that there was a place for fiction to not have graphic scenes. I've always been a reader. And I had found a book that was a mystery book, and it was a clean fiction mystery book. It was Christian fiction. And, I was like, oh, it's a mystery and it's clean. And I really, really enjoyed it. So I was like, okay. And so when I started writing, I've never been somebody who wants to read those scenes in a book to begin with. If it's in a book, I typically will, scroll past it or turn the pages. Just because for me, I feel like it doesn't always add to the story. I think if I can skip that stuff and I'm still in the same part of the story that I was prior to it, then that was fine. And I also really believe that, like, I think putting in more explicit content is some authors' way of creating tension. But let's be honest, when we're watching a television show or we're reading a book and you have this romantic tension between two characters, the second they kiss or they get together, it's over, it's gone. I mean, you look at Friends, Rachel and Ross, Chandler and Monica, like there's this tension and you want them to get together. And then once they do, you're like, okay, but now what? Like now what's the tension? And, for Friends, as an example, that tension they built with like, will they get together? Will they not get together? Will they get together? Will they get not? And that works fine for a television show, but in a book, that gets old.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, I feel like the tension that I can put into a story is, in the using the tension of their relationship. Do they trust each other? Are they hiding something from each other? What happens if they allow themselves to get involved with each other? There's the suspense element. Are they going to survive? Will they, what happens when they survive? Like, are there really, if they're in two different parts of their lives or their careers, can they make it work? And then, and I also really believe in the romantic tension of the touch of the brush of the hands. I'm not a classical reader, so forgive me. But, my friends all forced me to watch Pride and Prejudice. I've only watched 2 versions of it, but I've watched both versions. And the brush of the hands that everybody like oohs and ahs about, quite honestly, I don't get it. I mean, I get it because I've written it, but I was more fascinated with boiled potatoes guy, like I was like, that guy's a killer. Like he has serial killer eyes. So like that was
Oh
where
my
my
gosh.
attention was focused.
Yeah.
But I do think that like there's so much tension. I feel holding hands is incredibly romantic. And I feel like the touch of his hand at the small of her back is, I think building the relationship through the suspense is also very tension building, and it allows them to be able to reveal their attraction in a way that's not physical necessarily. Like they can do it in the way that they talk to each other, how they protect each other. I mean, how many times do we see the trope, the like you will not touch her, trope or whatever, that everybody's like touch her and die, you know what I mean? Like that is
Right.
that everybody will tell you, like they're like that's hot, you know what I mean? And so you just can build that without actually having to show anything. And I mean, at the end of the day, we all have imaginations. We've all had an experience either with our spouses or past relationships. We know what romance feels like. So we can interpret that how we want it to be. But I just felt like I didn't need to put that necessarily on a page to make a great story.
Yeah, for sure. It's so true. And I think, it could be that in this world where we're so obsessed with explicit content, that it's actually the little touches that are thrilling, because we don't see that a lot anymore. It's 0 to 60 immediately. And I agree so much with what you're saying, that once it's there, where's the tension? Like
Right.
it's gone. I think too, when you have another storyline going on, that gives so much more tension. And what I loved about your book, Spies, Lies, and Alibis, was that they were obviously attracted to each other from the very beginning, but they're trying to figure out, can we trust each other? And with trust comes intimacy. And so you see them go from a lack of trust to trusting each other more,
Right.
and I think that really is such a beautiful display of intimacy.
Yeah.
And you don't need
Right.
all the other stuff.
Right. And you're cheering for them. You're cheering for them to have that, because I think when you look at somebody who's like my son is dating somebody right now, and you know what the end result is. The end result and the hope is that you have marriage and then you have a family or whatever. So you know what comes. Like what I mean, we all know the song, like you're kissing in the tree. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you know what comes next. And so I think that I think when we look at our past, like when we look at how we date or whatever, that like the wooing and the courting or whatever, and like the exhilaration, like that's the fun part, right? Like that's the exciting
Yeah.
part. Sometimes when and you will obviously want that to carry into marriage, but I think that oftentimes you're like, oh, like the dating part, that's so
Yeah.
fun. And why not really, show that in like a very healthy way? I think that that's important.
Definitely. I'm curious, like, why do you think that these types of stories, like specifically romantic suspense, where there is this other element other than the romance, like, why do you think that resonates so much with readers? Like, what's special about this subgenre of romance that's almost like antithetical to romance itself,
Right. So it's interesting that I think that there's been a shift. I can't tell you, when I started writing romantic suspense, there was, I mean, everybody loves romance. The primary reader of books are women. And so we like romance. We want to see characters come together, however that might happen. And so when I started writing romantic suspense, while romantic suspense has always been a strong genre, it hasn't always been strongly received, especially on social media, by romance readers. They are like, I don't want to read the gritty stuff. I don't want to read the dark stuff. I don't want to read the hard stuff. And so I had this determination in myself to be like, I want to change the perspective of what romantic suspense means, so that romance readers can open up to the idea that like it's not all terrible, which is why when I write my stories, I love to balance humor with the soft moments, with characters who are different, because I want to show them that it can be this more encompassing genre. And
Yeah.
I think what's been exciting is that I think more and more readers, specifically just like when they tell you just romance readers, are coming over and being like, okay, I'm going to try it. I want to try the suspense element. And I think what suspense adds to the romance element is that you have this other storyline, like what you were saying. There's another storyline, and I think what it causes readers to do is question, what would I do if I was in that situation myself? Like if I was facing these sort of hard things, what would it look like? Would I be able to overcome it? And would I be able to do it with somebody coming up next to me and, helping me through it or whatever? And so I think that it adds a level of depth to storytelling that gives readers almost something else, that like, it's not just, are they going to get together? Let me turn the page. It's like, are they going to survive and be able to stay together? And what's going to tear them apart? And what is the bad guy trying to do to rip apart? Like, so now you're not just rooting for the romance, you're rooting for them to survive against whatever the antagonistic force is. So in romance, I think a lot of times the antagonistic force is almost self. I have trouble with a romance, or I've had a bad past relationship. So not only are my characters kind of overcoming that or recovering from that themselves, there's now another antagonistic force of like somebody who's like, well, I'm going to shoot bullets at you, and you can also make that decision while I'm doing that as well. Or I'm going to kidnap you, and you can decide if like, life is if the romance was worth it. You know what I mean? So I think it's just another element that makes a reader turn the page, and they're like, okay, I don't want them to just get together. I want them to like defeat the bad guy. Like I want them to overcome this which I think is also part of the reason why there was so much success with the Marvel movies, because you have this high action adventure. Women were not book readers. We were not Marvel fans, but that storytelling and those movies brought an entire group of fans that probably never would have existed had they not brought in that element of, will they get together, So.
That's a good point. That's a great point. Well, we had Sarah leave for a little bit, and now she's back.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I was just like,
whatever
watching
you
y'all's interview.
research, the FBI is not happy about. Just like
What I need to research is a new computer at this point. Tiffany and I were talking about it a couple weeks ago. I think it's time to
it's time to pull the trigger
and make it happen. Yeah.
Okay, I think one more question, and then maybe we should do our 5-star reads.
Yeah, I think so.
I am curious, Natalie, because you define yourself as like a sweet and stabby author, and I love that. But I'm curious, like, where do you draw the line as far as what sweet readers will deem appropriate or inappropriate?
Do you mean like in the suspense element, or as in like content wise? Because that could be very.
Yeah. I mean, either, because you don't always think of like people who are in the middle of, murder and fraud and, stuff like that as like, oh, this is a sweet read,
right.
But when I read your book, I was like, oh, this is sweet. It's intense,
right?
But it's also, I wouldn't say it's like dark or gritty. Like it is like, It does have a lighter tone to it,
right?
For a book that is what it's about.
Yes, yeah. So I think for me, I have my own personal boundaries on like what I'm willing to write, based off of my past history, based off of things that make me very uncomfortable. So I try to really be cognizant of what makes me like. every book I write is going to be something that I would want to read, that I'm excited
Mhm.
to write. I don't want to, it's not to say that I don't push boundaries and go into tougher areas of topics. But I do have a line of things that
Yeah.
these are things that I will never write about or I'll never put in my book. Like I'm not comfortable writing it. I'm not comfortable researching it. So
Yeah.
I won't probably necessarily put that in there. That being said, I think for me, the way that I counter some of those heavier, because there is death in my books. There's a body, there's somebody dying, somebody being killed, not ever really graphically described necessarily, to the point where I would be like, okay, this is like, I would be like, I mean, I wouldn't be like, okay, somebody under the age of 13 could read my book, but like, given what's on television, what's in books now, I mean, I feel like very, very mellow, but, I think for me personally, though, I want to balance those heavy things with light. And the light for me comes in the form of humor. It comes into the form of a cast of characters who bring lightness to the characters who are going through it. So, like, if I have my hero and my heroine, for instance, with Spies, I have I have Ben and Sybil going through this hard stuff. They're lying, or there's lies around them, and then you have Ben's gran, who is just like out of left field, this grandma who's kind of like, off her rocker a little bit.
Yeah.
She's the best. I love her. I strive to be her when I am her age. But I for me, she added that like emotional depth and humor that, like, okay, it gives readers a chance to like, I can breathe. Like
Yeah.
I can take a moment and I can breathe. And the same thing with the banter and the humor between the characters. I mean, my bookstore scene was a last minute addition that I was like, I feel like I need to like do, and it's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the scene with the revolving doors. Like those are scenes that I was like, okay, I love it because it gives me a chance to breathe as an author.
Yeah.
But I just think that like balancing those lighter things allow you to have a perspective on the darker and heavier topics
Mm.
that says like, when we are going through those things ourselves, when we're going through valleys, we know that the sun's going to come up tomorrow. We know that we're going to crest over that hill and we're going to see that light and it's going to shine things like, you
Yeah.
could go camping at night and it's pitch dark and you don't see anything. And the next morning that sun comes up and you're like, this is the most spectacular view I've ever had. And it's not until you have that light moment that's reflecting that. And so I think for me, with the suspense, with especially trying to get readers to like try it or to tiptoe into it, I always want to give them that assurance that like there is these lighthearted moments that will allow you to walk through the pages of the harder stuff, knowing
Yeah.
that there's going to be something good and fun and light and it doesn't diminish what the characters are going through or the harder topics, but it just goes to show us that like there is a light and there is a hope at the end, and that's what we should all be striving for. And just even like in our lives, like we have to cling to those things. So
Yeah. That's so true. And that's so beautiful. And like such a lovely note to end on, honestly. That's inspiring and so true and applicable not just to books but life too. When we absolutely I think God has a sense of humor. Otherwise, like why would we have, things like golden retrievers who are
right,
just a riot and
right,
squirrels who chase each other and play
right.
tag with each other. You're like, okay,
Yeah,
God also sees our need for lightheartedness and humor.
absolutely.
And, you know, we're guaranteed to have trouble in this life, but we're grateful for the light spots that he gives us. And a big part of that for us is books that
Yeah,
we get to read, books that bring light and humor and hope. I
yes.
think that's another beautiful thing about the written word is that you get to have hope
Hmm.
in a fictional way, but it reflects on our real
Right,
lives too.
absolutely, absolutely. Poor Sarah, we we won't be talking to her for a while. She's not going to be able. I hope she doesn't plan to be flying anywhere soon because she's on the TSA no fly list.
Seriously. Oh my gosh, poor Sarah. She didn't even Google that many bad things. I don't know. Maybe she's not telling us what she Googled.
Right. The lie was that she's actually Googled some real sketchy thing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh my gosh. Well, we usually like to do our 5-star reads. So Natalie, do you have any clean romantic suspense reads that you would recommend to our listeners?
I do. So I did a series because I don't have the book next to me, but I have Lynn Blackburn's her Gossamer Falls series, Never Fall Again, Last to Fall, and then her last one that just recently came out was Break My Fall.
Nice.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Last to Fall is the one that just recently came out. I probably can see.
Nice. Yeah.
But I love her. She did a really great job in this series, building a really good, tight community. Lots of banter, lots of romance, and the suspense is great. So she's definitely an auto-buy author for me, and she does a great job really balancing the suspense with romance and the hope. So she does a really great job with that.
I love that. Well, my 5-star read, I don't know if you've heard of this lady, Natalie Walters, but Spies, Lies, and Alibis by Natalie Walters, which is releasing today. I enjoyed this book so much. And like I said, I'm not normally a romantic suspense person. We've talked about on the show so many times. Our listeners know I'm like a snowflake. Like I just like I have like bad dreams and all this kind of stuff. But I did not have nightmares with this book.
That was great. That's going to be my tagline. Will not give you nightmares.
Yes, exactly.
Add that to the review.
Yeah, for sure. So people who normally just stick to rom-coms, I think this is like a perfect, balance of you definitely have some heart-pounding moments where you're like, what is going to happen? And the tension between Ben and Sybil and what they're not telling each other is so perfectly done that I think it just adds a lot of tension to the book, but not in the like gruesome sense, I would love to see this in like movie form or something. I think that would be so fun. The scene where she's throwing stuff at him, fruit and eggs, I was like, this would be so fun to film, like to see it on film. That would be really, really fun.
If it ever made it to the movies, which wouldn't that be amazing? I think that would probably be like the one scene that I'd want to be there for when they're filming it. Like I'd be like, no, it has to be more.
Yes, yeah, totally.
It needs to be more aggressive.
Yeah. Do you see characters in your head of who, like, if it did go to the big screen, like who do you see?
It's very weird to me because I know there's a lot of authors who write books and they can see there's an inspiration actor or actress to do. And typically if I'm looking at inspiration, like images or whatever, it's for what they look like, to describe the hair and like the eyes and things like that. But I've never been able to like actually picture an actor or an actress in one of the characters. So I think it would be really interesting to see what the casting director and the director would find as like the right fit and if I would agree with it or not. Because that's one of those things that I'd be like, because we all have that perspective. Like we were just talking about this the other day. I was talking about how like narrators can make or break a book. But also actors can make or break a movie. Like if you don't like a particular actor, you're going to already have a mindset going into like a movie. And so I don't have any particular, but it'd be interesting to see who they would pick for it. But wouldn't that be so fun if it was a movie?
That would be so fun. Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, the FBI reviewed my search history and decided that searching about lacrosse players' cars and fertility treatments was not enough to keep me. So I am back with my 5-star review or recommendation. And so this week, because we're talking about romantic suspense, I am recommending my friend Sarah Welk Baynum's book. Hers are romantic suspense, but get this, with horses. So this is like right up my alley. It's a whole series, and book 1 is called Impelled, and I believe the entire series is the Impelled series. But we're going to step this up even more because Sarah's account was recently shut down on Amazon. So I'm not sure if you know this, but occasionally Amazon will just, like, the bots will shut down author accounts, and it's almost impossible to get them back going. So we also want to support Sarah as she just like tries to get traction outside of Amazon. So I'm going to be posting the link where you can purchase direct. Also, her books are available on Barnes & Noble and basically everywhere but the Zon. So anyway, if you love romantic suspense with horses, you will love Sarah Welk Baynum's book, Impelled.
All right. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us, for our listeners, where can people find you and your books? Where should they start with your books besides Spies, Lies, and Alibis?
Yeah, we'll definitely start with Spies, Lies, and Alibis for sure. I had great fun writing it, and I think it really is a fun introduction to me as a person. Probably, it's probably got the most amount of my actual snarky attitude in the pages. So
Nice.
it's probably pretty fun to be there. But you can find me. I'm on social media. Instagram is a great place to find me. Natalie Walters Writer. I'm also on Facebook. Same handle. And I have a website, nataliewalters.com, that they can find all of the information about my books, where to buy them. And I love hanging out on social media with readers. I think it's so much fun interacting there. And it's a great place to meet my buddy, Body Bag Bob. He makes his appearance there. And so I would say start with Spies, Lies, and Alibis, but every book is a different flavor. So my Harbored Secret series is more small town romantic suspense, and my Snap agency is more global espionage. So it's a little bit closer tied to spies, but it's not quite as it's just different. They all have a different kind of flavor to it. So I think trying them anywhere would be great. So I appreciate it.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I'm going to wrap us up. Thank you for joining us on the Clean Romance podcast, where clean romance lives happily ever after. Wherever you're listening, follow or subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Until next time, happy reading.